Welcome, fellas, to our first film review of 2025. We're going to be breaking down prospects throughout the college football class heading into the NFL. There are a lot of prospects to go over, and we're going to go through as many as possible that are going to be directly affected into most of your fantasy lives, as well as we're going to break down some defensive guys. If you don't know who I am Gut. I work directly with BDGE Media, as well as I'm doing some of my own content on here where I'm going to be constantly trying to break down film for you guys so you can get that next level edge in NFL knowledge. If you don't know, I played football throughout my entire life, played Division II football, had opportunities to coach other places before I took the media job. So I'm going to give you guys as much knowledge as I have to try to get you the best possible scouting grades as I can. Starting with Kaleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. He's a 6 foot, 225 pound running back, junior, 21 years old. So he's a young guy. So that's what we really like out of these prospects. His stats pop off the page this year at 1,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, averaging 6.4 yards per carry. We're going to highlight mainly 3 games today. His biggest games, which I say is Iowa State, Ohio State, and Minnesota. Those are the 3 games that I look to are either his toughest matchups or his closest games or just Big Ten games against tough rushing defenses. I don't like looking at cupcakes. I don't want to see you beat up against nobodies. I don't think that truly translates to NFL level because most of those guys that are playing at Troy, sorry, aren't making it to the NFL level. I want to see you play the Ohio States of the world. I want to see you play the Minnesotas of the world. Guys that are going to be translated to the next level, that are going to be playing against you at the next level. That's the kind of scouting film I normally like to look at. And for Kaleb Johnson, we do have a good sample size of that. Guts, big 5 that we're going to be looking at: vision, patience, footwork, third gear, and contact balance. Those are the 5 things I think a running back should have when heading into the next level. And if you have an A grade for me in all of those categories, you are an A+ prospect. Not going to be many of those. I'm a pretty tough grader. As someone who played running back myself, I feel like this is probably my best position to look at. So I'm going to be tough on these guys. We're going to start out with looking clips about Kaleb Johnson's vision. Starting with this Iowa State game, this is about halfway through the game. He's in an I set. They're going to be motioning in the fullback here, and they're going to be running a typical outside zone play. But Kaleb is going to show some pretty good vision here. I think this is one of his best clips we have. If you guys know anything about zone, right, what are we going to do? We're going to bang, we're going to bounce, and we're going to work back. Or we can bend, as some people would say. As you can see, what Kaleb does here is a very good job. He can either shoot here and work up. He can work outside, or he can bend this one back. That's the way we look at it from a running back position, right? As the play starts, finds the bend, finds the vision here to cut back, and boom, turns into a big play. This is just bad from the safety, but works up the field. He's not off to the races, though. No real third gear. That's one of his knocks I will talk about later. The other problem I have with him here, obviously the vision's great. You hit the outside, awesome, but there are going to be nitpicky stuff in here I want to break down for you guys so you're not completely lost. Obviously, he bends it back. That's the right thing to do in inside zone. But one thing he does is he bows this running lane outside, right? When you're looking at this and you're off to the races, your pursuit angles on the backside look like this. He's going to try to beat you here. He's going to go long and have to cut you off damn near to the goal line. And he should not touch you if you're an NFL runner right here. Right? When we look at it from this angle, we see it best, right? What Kaleb does is instead, what he should do is take this ball and run it right near the numbers. At most, he should come like here. What does he do? He pigeonholes himself to the corner. And what does that allow this guy to do right here? Cut him off. Cut him off. That's what you don't want to do at the next level. Guys are bigger, faster, stronger. That turns a touchdown into only a 30, 40-yard gain. We'll take gains like that. We'll take them. But you want these to be touchdowns at the college level. That's the only thing I would really nitpick here. Outside of that, good run, good vision. We move on to the next play. After seeing a good vision play, we have to look at a bad vision play. Obviously, the bend, bounce, back play. Obviously, he's had some good plays in the middle there when we're looking at film in general. This one's going to be rough. Good counter step, good footwork here. He looks at this and he sees nowhere. He's looking at this DN spilling right here. He's supposed to work upfield to contain him, which would create a hole here for him to sneak through. That doesn't happen. His offensive lineman actually does a really good job at holding this D end. So he can't get him outside. This is horrible technique, by the way. This is horrendous. And it's even worse vision. We go forward to this spot of it, this angle of it. What should Kaleb do here? Where are the hats? When you look at the hats, you look at where's the helmet of every defender? Obviously, you see these two, they're more prominent. You see how bad and engulfed this D end is. He is not getting outside of 77 here. So what should Kaleb do? Bounce this. Bounce this. Get outside. This motherfucker is stuck in quicksand. He ain't touching you. I promise you he ain't touching you. Kaleb bounces this outside. Not only does he have that, he's no one else here to work for. No one else is here. It will be one-on-one here because this is the corner, number 5, right? Number 5 is your corner. There's no one else here. It would be a one-on-one with the corner if you can hit outside here. That's vision I look forward to improve at the next level. Here's one more good vision play for you. Same game against Iowa State. Now, why am I looking at Iowa State? You're probably asking. They're bad. But Iowa State, despite being ranked 105th in the country at stopping the run, this was a close game, a game where they needed to win. They ended up losing by 1. I like to look at close games because it's a gritty game, rivalry game. I think those matter a little bit more. Put some more edge onto the player here. This is a good vision play. Again, we're looking at another inside zone play. So when this develops, there's going to be a split zone. Tight ends coming across to knock out this D end. What are we going to look at here from the running back? Again, we already went over this once. We're going to look at the bang. Does he have the A gap? Does he have the bounce outside? Or does he have the bend back? Those are the 3 ways he could go with this. I think he does the best job here. Good jump cut. A little bit sticky there, but good jump cut. Gets tripped up, which you don't like to see, especially at his size. Does have a slender frame, but that's the good vision. The vision is what we're looking at here. Where are his eyes? He automatically looks to where the hole is supposed to be. Sees 86 has his shoulder and has his back towards him. Got it covered. He knows he could beat him. Boom. Should be a big play if he doesn't get tripped up. Still good vision nonetheless. Heading on to our second big thing, which is patience. You need to have good patience if you want to be a good running back. You have to have good patience if you want to be a good running back. So what do we look at here with Kaleb? Kaleb's going to come down here on a stretch, outside zone play. Patient. There's nothing, hits it. That's exactly what we want to see. This is very almost Le'Veon Bell-esque, as a lot of people would compare to. Nothing. As soon as he sees this hat come in the hole right here, he knows he's going to have this outside. Immediately. You see it. Boom. Explosion. Get out. Get out. Now, again, what would I say to him? I would say, hey, get the fuck up the field. Stop bowing outside. You bow outside. What does that do? Give easier pursuit angles. That's a bad pursuit angle I just drew. Easier pursuit angles for these corners. Like that run. I understand, again, great patience is what we're looking at. But this run should turn into more, in my opinion. Especially at the college level. And we'll get into that. But nonetheless, great patience. Great patience. Heading in that same game, here's another run. Counter. So what does it look like on counter? Where are you following? You're following your guards. You're following your tight ends. On this one, you're following your tight end. Right? You have 2 guys pulling here. You follow big, 67 right here, and 83. Those are the guys you're following. Follow their asses. Get to their ass. Good counter steps, by the way. Good patience. Settle. And you're probably like, he's fucked. Nope. Great vision. Great way to find his way through there. Got slim, shoulders low, and got through. It's exactly what we look for. Get slim. Horrible technique from the defense. Horrible technique. But gets through, makes a big play. He's off. This is the one time where bowing it works out because he's a guy chasing him. But you know my thoughts and feelings. Also, having a white guy be able to chase you down by the end zone just doesn't do it for me. But again, great downhill, great vision, great patience. Great patience. That's what we're looking for. A running back that can sit and wait for a hole to open up. And if there's nothing there, put his head down. Here's where we're going to look at footwork. Footwork is our third big key we're looking at. If you have bad footwork, you can't be in the NFL. I will say this time and time again. Good running backs will not go high in the draft if they have bad footwork. Bad running backs with bad footwork will not be drafted, period. Good running backs with good footwork prime example last season. I was very high on Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving has amazing footwork. Go back and watch his tape. Watch his tape from this year. His footwork is immaculate, and hence why he's turned into a great running back. We're going to look at footwork here. Kaleb's is good fundamentally. Again, he's great first steps, great zone steps, able to find his way through. Great. Okay, we'll look at it from the back angle here. He has a great jump here, which I really like. Just to get over that first diving defender. Not a lot of running backs will do this, get tripped up. He gets tripped up a lot on tape, but right here he doesn't. Able to jump over and then keep his legs moving. I get it's not a big gain, but he keeps his legs moving. Has a great cut off the zone cut here. Great zone cut. Boom, downhill immediately. Finds the hole and keeps his leg turning. You like to see that from Kaleb Johnson. Now I have some not so hot footwork plays. This isn't necessarily like side-to-side footwork because we don't see that out of Kaleb. Everyone's going to be like, where do we see his pitter-patter in the hole? Don't really get it. That's the problem. We've seen a few clips where he's done it. Great side cut. He just isn't a good jump cutter. He doesn't juke. He doesn't spin. He's a strictly downhill runner. That's what you're getting out of Kaleb Johnson. That's going to be fine for some new NFL offenses. We see Detroit. We see Baltimore. Offenses use that sort of running scheme. This isn't a pure knock on him, but it is something that definitely bothers me in the slightest, especially because being a downhill runner, this right here should never happen. Versus Ohio State, we all know how Ohio State is. You can't make mistakes with Ohio State. Boom. Great spot. Can't happen. That can't happen. Gets to the... Oops. This... You're on to the next level. This guy right here, this is the definition of an arm tackle. Can't happen. I don't care what you want to say. It's a shoulder into his calf. I don't care. Kaleb, and you'll see I have multiple clips of this. Kaleb has a very narrow running style. He's a great downhill runner. I get it. But he's a narrow running style, which leads to easy trip-ups. That is a concern for me. If you're going to be a downhill runner, we look at David Montgomery. We look at Kenneth Walker. You look at even guys like Jordan Mason on San Francisco who came in this year. What do they not do? Go down on first contact. Nick Chubb, great example. You can't go down on first contact. We're looking at this again. Versus Minnesota. What do we get? Inside zone. Cannot happen. Can't happen. Can't have it. 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 What is this? What is this right here? One arm. What happens? Cannot have it. I don't care what you say in the comments. I don't care what your guys' thoughts are. As looking at running backs, if you're going to be a downhill runner, you're not going to make juke moves at the second level. You're not going to have a third gear. You have to be able to break those tackles. He does it in games where they don't fucking matter. He does it against Northwestern. Sure. Does it against Troy. Sure. Does it do it against Minnesota. Does it do it against Ohio State. Does it do it against Iowa State. That's a problem. Here we are again. Ohio State. Games that matter. Big time games. Where are we at? Footwork. Boom. It's a good cut. Shake one. Shake two. Good contact balance. Again, we go over contact balance. Great contact balance. Okay, now we're getting, again, this is the footwork. What happens at the next level? Can you make a move? This is Kaleb Downs, one of the best safeties in all of college football. What do? Nothing. You give up. Absolutely fucking nothing. Great footwork there. Good jab step. Way to break it. Good contact balance. Even though it wasn't that much. But you have this much space to work with. We practice this drill almost every fucking week. Where you get a pitch out in practice. You get a pitch and you have 10 yards to work with against a defender. You have 10 yards to work with against a defender. One-on-one. What can you do one-on-one against a defender? And this is how every NFL DB will look. He is an NFL caliber DB, will be in the first round. What can you do against him? You do nothing. You give up. You get shoved out of bounds. You can't give up at the second level. He does this time and time again. Can't stand it. Here we go against Iowa State. Same thing. What are we going to do at the second level here, Caleb? You get through all the running lane in the world. You've one man to beat. You have a two-way go. What can you do? Cut in. His ass ain't catching you. What can you do? Cut in or try to beat him around and stiff arm him? Something. You're 6 foot 230. Make a fucking move. Don't tell me you go down to this. I'll even give you guys a suspense. What does he do? From this angle, you have a two-way go, Caleb. You see him all day. Cut him off and get inside, or try to beat him with your legs. If you have the speed, beat him. I don't know. I don't even have words for what this attempt is. You can interpret it. Next. Lastly, we're going to look at his third gear. Here we're going to look at his third gear. We looked at this play before, but I'm going to bring it back because I think it's super important. He has a great cutback, good vision. He's there. But again, if he's fast, he bends this up the field, and his ass has to haul to get him. Because you look at it from this angle, right? This is how I think of it. You look at parallel lines. He has to go here. That's even being generous. He has to go like here to meet him if he's going right there. Right? Parallel lines is how that works. And he has to be faster. If Caleb bows this outside, he has a little more leeway to go this way. AKA cutting off more time. And that's what he does. He has breakaway speed, third gear. I think it's like 4 or 5 speed. We've seen it this entire film. I'm not going to waste your time. Just not a lot there working with. Contact balance is number 5. We saw a lot of it throughout those clips. A lot of that we didn't see with the footwork and trips up. He has pretty good contact balance. I looked through a lot of Northwestern as well and some other smaller schools. He has solid contact balance, but it's nothing crazy. We don't really need to go over it in film. He's a 6 foot 230 back. We should see more of it in those sort of clips. We didn't see much of it. We'll go off from there. But he's able to shake tackles like wing tackles, stuff like that. He's not able to shake the bigger first man in there. He goes down very quickly. He gives up very easily. Those are some of my cons that I look at. Contact balance is not very high for me. If we're looking at external factors in this overall grading that I have, his offensive line is number 4th in the country. 4 in the country. This is including postseason and regular season. That's bowl games, playoffs, whatnot. 4th in the country, they're graded on PFF. The next closest running back offensive line grade is at 26. There's a large gap between the other prospects and him. And I think his overall comp is going to be Jamal Williams. I think it's a good comp for him. I think that's exactly kind of his play style. He's going to be a downhill thumper. He's going to be able to run this downhill scheme that people want to at the next level. He's going to be a good complement to somebody. I don't think he's a 1A. I think he's a 1B at the next level. I give him an overall B- grade. I think his footwork needs work. I think his third gear isn't quite there. He's a 4.5, 4.6 running back. His vision is solid. His patience is good. His footwork fundamentals are there. Needs some work still. His contact balance is very questionable. He gets a B- for me. He's still a good prospect, a solid B-level prospect. I don't see him being a 1A in the offense. I give him a 3rd round to 5th round draft grade. I wouldn't draft him in the 2nd. I certainly wouldn't draft him in the late 1st. He is Jamal Williams to me. That's my comp for him. I think he's a very similar running style. He's going to be a thumper at the next level who gets you a few yards, can run a downhill scheme. He's not going to break, I think, big, long runs. He's going to be a almost Gus Edwards-esque as we saw him in Baltimore. He just isn't that breakaway guy. He's not going to have those super big runs after breaking 4 tackles and making people miss. He doesn't make people miss. That's another thing. So we're not going to see that damn near at all with him. But I think he can fit in these 4 schemes to make him break out even more. If he goes to Baltimore, Derrick Henry goes away, whatnot. I think he fits really well into that scheme. Chargers, I think he could literally take Gus Edwards' role, complement a running back there, and be fantastic. I think that would be his perfect fit, is the Chargers. Another fit I really like is the Browns. I think that, Nick Chubb, now aging. Jerome Ford, a lot of question marks. And if he goes to the Browns, get a lot of single back work like he's comfortable with out of Iowa. They're on a very similar. They like running outside zone, but they also like running trap and power. He's comfortable with all of it. He's coming from Iowa. They ran all of that gap scheme and zone scheme. 49ers, a lot of zone scheme, outside zone, inside zone, but they also, again, run a lot of power. They run a lot of ISO. We can run ISO. We came out of Iowa. We love running ISO. Kaleb Johnson, downhill runner, could be a very similar to just a less explosive Isaac Orendo, but I think he's still a little bit better because he's better vision and patience than Isaac. But if that would be a similar kind of plug and play there, like the Niners have had previously. Kind of like a Jordan Mason. I think Jordan Mason might be a little bit better, but same aspect. That's my thoughts on Kaleb Johnson. Let me know how you guys thought of him. If you like these being shorter, I tried to make this one a short, quick, just some quick clips to get to you guys. If you want these longer, you want longer in-depth breakdowns, you want more drawing, you want me taking you through each scheme, I can do that as well. I had another version of this that was 52 minutes. I decided that one shouldn't go. I did too much coaching in that. If you want me to break these down more, let me know in the comments below. Let me know your guys' thoughts and any recommendations you have for these types of videos going forward. Also, let me know in the comments below. I'm learning this as well as you guys. So, make my job a little bit easier and let me know what you guys like to see and how you guys like these breakdowns. And I'll catch you guys next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, watch the fun shit down below. Peace.